person I was going to have on today was going to talk about the situation of the founder of my new church. Now, the church is a THC Ministries out of Hawaii. And Roger Christie, who was on my show, well, he had he started the church. He founded the church, and they were marrying people. It was legal. Roger Christie has now been held without bail at the Honolulu Federal Detention Center since July 8, 2010. His trial on federal drug trafficking charges has been set for April 26, 2011. He's not allowed to see anyone except attorneys or his blood relatives while he is unable to make phone calls. While he is able to make phone calls and received emails under restricted conditions, he must pay dearly for the privilege. The Federal Detention Center charges him about $600 per month for phone calls, emails, and access to the prison commissary. And there's another person that's in federal court that, again, I had his wife on. Mark Emery is in U.S. federal court, and just days before sentencing in the U.S. federal court case against the Canadian Mark Emery and its own charges of marijuana trafficking, the former lead U.S. prosecutor in the case has called for the end of marijuana prohibition in an opinion published in the Seattle Times. Former U.S. Attorney John McKay. Now, protections for VA medical marijuana patients now secured by VHA Directive 2010-035. Some are wondering why the DEA continues to treat marijuana as a Schedule I drug, and what, if any, is the significance of the directive in light of the last year's federal policy announcement ending raids on cannabis clinics in those 14 states. And Hawaii has resumed marijuana eradication on the Big Island. They restarted the Hawaii State Narcotics Enforcement Division has started its marijuana eradication program over the Big Island. But Hawaii has also published a piece said pot growers given light sentences, emphasizing the light sentences usually faced by marijuana growers on the Big Island. A 50-year-old Angola man was sentenced to 30 days in jail for growing marijuana. I think, what we're talking about, a protest rally was held on Wednesday, August 18th, in downtown Hilo for Roger Christie, who's now being held without bail at the Federal Detention Center. Come on, folks. Several hundred protesters gathered at the Hilo Bayfront to hear citizens speaking out on behalf of Roger Christie. Now, I just had him on my show. You can find that. I'm pretty sure you can find it just about anywhere, somewhere on my... And let's take a tip of the hat to Samuel R. Caldwell. Samuel Caldwell was arrested on October 2nd in 1937. He became the first person jailed under the Marijuana Tax Act. He was sentenced to 4 years hard labor at Leavenworth and a $1,000 fine. He died 1 year after release from the prison. Okay, and I'm checking on my switchboard here. Still don't have my guest who was supposed to be in here. I don't know what is wrong, folks. You know, somebody calls me, they want to be on the show, I book them on the show, and then they never answer. They don't answer their phones. They're not up. And I wasn't there last night. Of course, maybe this is a marijuana activist too. Maybe he has been arrested too. But we do have, the chat is working today. Alright. Yeah, Grump, I'm still on the air, but I am considering going off of the air. Matter of fact, I put up on one of my sites here that I'm talking about quitting today. It's things exactly like that. The blog talk we had trouble with yesterday, it could be just computer malfunction. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's an attack. But folks, I am under attack here. And one of the graphic views of what happened is with Rick Sanchez. Now, Rick Sanchez is on an apology. His apology tour continued this week with a stop Monday in Washington media. The ousted CNN host who got in trouble for calling comedian Jon Stewart a bigot and insinuating the Jews-controlled CNN talked with online with the Washington Post. Much of what people have heard have just been snippets from that conversation, so I can understand why many have taken offense to these selected comments, and I truly apologize for them, he wrote. However, it's very important to take into consideration I have spent a large part of my career confronting anti-Semites. He also said he would gladly make an appearance on The Daily Show to apologize to Stewart in person. Sanchez didn't give any hints what he might do next, merely thanking those who inquired. It's very painful to go through what I've going through, and I wake up at night seemingly anxiety-ridden over prospects for my future. Besides Monday's chat, Sanchez reemerged on Twitter during the weekend. He's been tweeting about upcoming interviews. And this whole thing about apologizing, Rick Sanchez apologizing. Now, I'm not going to go back into what's happened to me over the last few years. I'm not going to go into that. All of you that listen to this know that. But I do want to share this with you, because this is what is happening. And I don't know if this is part of my problems or not. I really don't. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe, it's just, I'm just not, maybe I've been doing this for so many years that I just lost it somewhere. Maybe I just lost it. That's right. Truth Pilgrim says, Marlon Brando, Mel Gibson also had to apologize for criticizing the Jews. Sanchez must now bow the knee to Jewry. I'm going to talk about that here. Because John Kaminsky did a good piece. He said Jewish mind control is so effective that some people who agree with Rick Sanchez might feel obliged to excuse Jews and blame their victims for letting it happen, to go after Hitler for his evil deeds. What evil deeds? The Holocaust? I thought we had consigned that fairy tale to the hoax file along with that Israel has a right to defend itself, fractional reserve banking.